Hi, welcome back. I'm Dr. Patty. If you're new to our channel, thanks for stopping by. So as you probably noticed from the title of the video, I'm going to talk today about coffee enemas. I know it's not the sexiest topic. Anytime we talk about poop or our gut or putting something into our bum, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking. But coffee enemas are an amazing therapy to help the body detoxify. Now, enemas in general are helpful for getting movement into our gut, into our colon, flushing things out. It can be used for constipation and bloating. But when you add coffee to the enema, without getting into all the science and mechanism of action and anatomy and physiology, basically there is a group of nerve endings in our colon that communicates directly with our liver and blood vessels also. So there's a direct connection and communication between the gut and the liver. And the coffee actually stimulates these nerve endings, and it helps enhance the liver's ability to detoxify. It increases or enhances the detox pathways, and it increases an enzyme that helps the body make more glutathione. And if you don't know what glutathione is, it's one of the, if not the most powerful antioxidant in our body. So we want that. We want more antioxidants, of course, with all the toxicity that we are surrounded by and put into our bodies from time to time. So needless to say, coffee enemas, I think, are an amazing therapy. And let's talk a little bit about how to do it. So the coffee enemas are great for if you've indulged a little too much over the holidays, all the way to if you've got chronic illness or chronic imbalances that you're dealing with. It's also really helpful for hangovers and migraines, and because it is enhancing the body's ability to detoxify, it has a domino effect on all other systems, and it can help your skin be more radiant because the liver is working well. If you're having a little bit of trouble losing body fat, excess body fat, it can help the body let go of that. It can help with inflammation, any kind of pelvic or abdominal congestion that may be leading to gas and bloating, constipation, pelvic disorders like uterine fibroids or endometriosis, or even muscle inflammation just from toxicity being held in our muscles and cells. So the coffee enema is a really wonderful tool. Now, what you want to do is use the most organic, use an organic, ideally shade-grown coffee. And recipes vary. So, everybody is a little bit different. And if you've never done a coffee enema before, start with maybe a little bit less dosage. But typically, people who have been doing this for a while will use about 2 tablespoons of medium ground coffee in about anywhere from 2 to 4, maybe even 6 cups of water. So you can start with even just 1 teaspoon of medium ground coffee if you're brand new to this and you tend to be a little bit more sensitive. So what I do is actually boil the coffee. So you can use a coffee maker, just make sure that your filters are unbleached and organic, or you could use a French press. Let the coffee steep for a good 10 minutes in the French press. I boil the coffee, again, in 2 to 4 cups of water, and bring it to a boil and then let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then you want to bring the coffee temperature down, so let it cool. Do not, I repeat, do not put hot coffee up your bum. That is going to be extremely painful. Coffee enemas are not painful or uncomfortable, but it will be if you use hot coffee. So definitely don't do that. And it's a little bit of a Goldilocks situation because you also don't want it to be too cold. You are actually putting this into your organ, so it's going to be uncomfortable if it's too cold. So you want it to be about lukewarm, a little above room temperature. So bring the coffee to the proper temperature. And then as far as the enema receptacle, drugstores will sell enema kits, and they look kind of like the hot water bottles, the rubberized plastic bottles or bags. I prefer a stainless steel coffee enema bucket like this. I just like using the steel as opposed to any kind of plastic or even the rubberized bag, because there is some plastic in there. So I do like the stainless steel bucket for using for this therapy. And what you're gonna do is put your liquid into the bucket, and before you get started, your tubing is gonna come with a little bit of this locking mechanism. So what you're gonna wanna do is actually unlock the mechanism and let coffee come through your tubing so it releases all the air bubbles, and then go ahead and make sure you lock that. And then you're gonna hang your bucket or your bag somewhere high enough, either a doorknob or even higher, to allow gravity to bring the fluid down through the tubing and into your body when it's time to do the therapy. So you also want to make sure that the nozzle is lubricated. I know there's a little bit of nervousness or anxiety, just the idea of putting this inside of ourselves, but it's a little bit of a strange feeling if you've never done it, but you quickly get used to it, and it's not painful and it's not uncomfortable. So don't be afraid, but you do want to lubricate it just to make it as comfortable as possible. Now, do not use any kind of commercial lubricants or KY jelly or anything, because this is going to be actually inserted into your mucous membrane, and you don't want to be adding more chemicals or toxins or synthetics into your system while you're actually trying to detoxify. So I recommend just using good old-fashioned organic coconut oil. You can also use a non-petroleum jelly. I'll list one down below that I really like. Alba makes a great non-petroleum jelly, also great for using on your skin and for a whole bunch of other health issues, but you can definitely use it to lubricate the nozzle. And then I recommend to my patients, to friends, for myself, making a little area in your bathroom, maybe putting down a yoga mat and a bunch of towels where you can lay down and rest while you do the enema and retain the liquid. So make a little bed for yourself, and then lay down either on your right side or your back or your left side. It seems to be more of a preference. People have different ideas about which is better, but really just do what feels most comfortable for you. And you can switch too. You don't have to stay in one position the whole time. So you lay down, and then you're going to insert the nozzle into your rectum and go ahead and then release the lock so that the coffee can then flow through the tubing into your colon. And in the beginning, if you've never done this before, there is going to be a bit of an urge to want to release and to get on the toilet. But try to just stay relaxed, but also to contract your sphincter and let that feeling pass. As the fluid gets into your colon, it will pass. And if it feels like too much pressure is building, you can also go ahead and lock this back on and just give your body a moment to let the liquid move through your colon. Let your body get used to the sensations, and then unlock again and let a little bit more fluid in. Now, like I said before, if it's your first time or you're a little sensitive, or this is, you just want to move slowly, start with just the 2 cups of fluid. You don't have to jump right to 1.5 liters. We have a tendency, not just with enemas, but in life and in health, to really dive in and try to want to do everything perfectly and do it to the utmost and the extreme. But, just start small and ease into it and slowly work your way up, and you'll get to your goal, whatever that may be. So after you've let all the fluid into your colon, you want to then just relax. And this would be a good time to do some breathing, maybe do some meditation, or just to lay there and just take a moment for yourself. And the goal would be to try to retain the fluid for about 5 to 15 minutes. It is going to be harder in the beginning to retain, but the more you do this, it will get easier and easier. And the longer you can retain, the more of that communication happens with the liver. And so the detox is a little bit more enhanced, but whatever you can do is fine. And then once you've rested long enough, then you'll go to your toilet and release. And sometimes it doesn't happen right away. If it takes a minute, you can do some abdominal massage. You can use something like a squatty potty, raising your legs to help gravity do its job, and you may just have to wait a little bit. Sometimes it just happens right away. Also keep in mind that sometimes you will release all the fluid and whatever else is coming out of your colon, and it feels like it's done, but maybe 15 or 30 minutes later you'll have the urge to use the restroom again, and that's quite normal as well. Sometimes what happens is nothing comes out. Now, don't worry if this happens. It does happen, but it probably means that you are dehydrated. So it's just a little bit of a communication and indicator from your body that you need to be hydrating more in general. And in the future, you may want to drink a glass or two of water before you actually start your enema. The other thing that I want to mention is that you should ideally do your coffee enema first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. So maybe choose like a Saturday or Sunday or your day off to give yourself a little bit of time so you're not in a rush. And you want to do it again on an empty stomach, not at the end of the day after you're full of food and have been eating. And you know, it's best first thing in the morning. And also, even though the coffee is not entering our circulation the way that it does when we drink a cup of coffee, so people don't necessarily feel that jitteriness and high from coffee like they do when they drink coffee. But some people do feel a boost in energy, and a lot of people also report a lot of mental clarity. So it's another reason why it would be helpful to do it in the morning. If for some reason you do this and you do feel a little bit jittery, like you've had a cup of coffee, then you probably want to lower your coffee dose even to as low as a teaspoon, like I said, and just slowly work your way up. And you may have to just find your right dose. For you, it may just be 2 teaspoons, and that's just the dose that works for you for a while. So see what works for you. It is, you know, we try to speak about health and wellness to help as many people as possible, but ultimately everything is individualized, so you have to see what works best for you. So leave a comment down below if you have any questions, or if you've ever done a coffee enema, if you have experience with coffee enemas, how it's been for you, what it's helped you with. The first time I ever did one was nearly 20 years ago when I was in naturopathic medical school, and I was nervous, and I was very surprised, happily surprised at what an amazing therapy it is. And over the years, I go through phases, but I think it's such an amazing therapy to just enhance our detoxification. And in the modern world that we live in, there's just so much toxicity that we all need help with detoxifying. So hope you found this video helpful. Please leave a comment below and hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. And thank you so much, and see you back here soon.